GPU are known for high throughput. And when it comes to cryptographic processing, GPU can be 28 times faster than a modern CPU. So this is very attractive to the people who want to securely store and transmit big data. And that's we have seen increasing deployment of GPU in cryptographic processing. However, the problem is there's no research or public information about GPU architecture. And the question is GPU secure for running cryptographic algorithm? Well, we can only answer this question if we can successfully attack the GPU, right? So to attack the GPU, we're using timing attack. So timing attack is one of the powerful class, Citronal powerful Citronal attack. So unlike classical software attack, which exploit the vulnerability in the application, Citronal attack exploit the physical information of a system when the application is running. So this physical information can be power consumption of the system, the temperature of the system. In our case, the timing information. So the timing attack here, we exploit the time variability. So for example, there's a huge time difference when you have a cache miss and a cache hit. So various timing attack, which has demonstrated to be very successful on CPU platform, are relying on the concept of cache miss and cache hit. However, there's until now, there's no timing attack on the GPU yet. So as an attacker, well, we have applied currently known GPU-based what we call single-thread timing attack to the GPU. Because both GPU and the CPU have similar memory hierarchy. So, and of course, our first initial attempts were not successful. But more importantly, we learned from our failure, and which led up to our correlation timing attack, which exploited the memory collapsing feature in a GPU. So to see the challenging we face, we would like to first see how single-thread timing attack work. So in single-thread timing attacks, CPU only running one encryption. So it takes one input block and produce one output block. So in this setting, attacker can precisely and accurately correlate the time to that particular encryption. And more importantly, the cache footprint in the CPU is only resulted from this particular encryption. And it becomes feasible for the attacker to model the cache footprint. This is different story with the GPU though. So GPU are designed for parallel processing, which means it can perform multiple encryption at a time. Thus, it normally takes multiple input blocks and produce multiple block of the output, right? So here we can only associate the time information we observe to many of those encryptions, and also more importantly, right, the cache footprint in the GPU will be resulted from all of those encryptions. So it would not be feasible for the attacker to model how the cache footprint look like in the GPU. And also for there's something called warp scheduler, which what it does was when a group of threads running on the GPU encounter a cache miss, you'll be swapped out, and then instead you will schedule another group of threads that are ready to execute. So from the timing information, attacker cannot obviously will not easily observe the cache hit or cache miss just by assuming the timing information. So we can see the infeasibility when we try to exploit the timing, the cache channel. So we take our step back and look for another channel. So one of the many things that makes GPU different from CPU is single instruction multi-thread execution mode. So what it does is, for example, when there's a load instruction is being executed, a group of say 32 threads will generate 32 memory requests and will issue to the memory system at the same time. So here is the observation. So what if these 32 memory requests are accessing the same data? Sending those duplicate memory requests to the memory system will be wasting the memory bandwidth, right? So what we found was this really nice feature in NVIDIA GPU called memory collapsing. So what it does is, say you have a one load instruction is being executed, and then there's a 32 memory requests being generated. And there's also, say, 4 duplicate memory requests. So with the memory collapsing feature, these 4 duplicate memory requests will be merged into one single memory request. So instead of sending 32 memory requests to the memory system, it will actually send out 29 unique memory requests to the system. So we developed a micro benchmark and examine to see the relationship between the execution time of a load instruction and the number of unique memory requests it actually generated. So in this micro benchmark, we have only one load instruction, which will have a group of 32 threads and generate 32 memory requests. And we carefully select the data each thread in the group is accessing. So with the memory collapsing feature, it only results in a specific number of unique cache nights. So here is the result we have found. So basically, this graph telling us, given a number of unique cache night requests, we can accurately estimate the execution time of the load instruction. So this is very similar to the concept of cache hit and cache miss. So when you have a cache miss, the load instruction take much longer, and if you have cache hit, and the load instruction gonna take much shorter. So in our case, the execution time of the load instruction is actually strongly correlate with the number of unique cache night actually generated. So how can we exploit this channel? Well, we take AES encryption as a test application. So AES is an encryption algorithm that is standardized by NIST, an official government organization. And AES is used everywhere, like in the bank transaction. So AES encryption has 10 rounds of nonlinear and linear operation, and 16 bytes of plain text, the input text, and produce 16 bytes of cipher text. So here is a view of the last round of the AES. So each byte is generated by one table lookup operation result and XOR with the one associated key byte. And there are 16 key bytes and are used to generate 16 cipher bytes. And our goal is to recover all those 16 key bytes. So the table lookup operation is actually a load instruction. So the index is actually determined, it is the memory access address. So here it's important to understand that when this load instruction is executed, a group, say 32 threads, is 32 thread will generate 32 memory requests, and depending on the value of index in each thread, the number of unique memory requests sent to the memory system will be different. So this is important concept to get. So if we know the value in each, if we know the value of the index in each thread, we will be able to calculate the number of unique cache knife that it generates. So basically, so by that we can actually estimate this lookup table operation. We can estimate the execution time of this lookup table operation. So if we know the key and the ciphertext, we can use the inverse lookup table to calculate the index value. So here is an example of how we calculate the index value. So to simplify the example, in this example we only have 8 parallel encryption at the same time with the same encryption key. So we take the first key byte of each encryption, which is result from one table lookup operation. So we take this column of the encryption, and then according to the equation, we first, and also by the way, we assume the key to be 13 in base of 16. So according to the equation, we first execute the key, and then perform a table lookup, and we can basically calculate the access index. So because each cache knife, the cache knife size in the NVIDIA GPU can be 64 bytes. So and each element in the lookup table is 4 bytes. Means so that's we have 16 elements in each cache knife request. So in order to really know the actual memory block we are accessing, we need to drop the lower 4 bits of the index value we calculate. So simply we drop in the lower 4 bit and then get the memory block address, and we roll the memory access index, and we find the total number of unique cache knife requests. So this we perform another experiment. So we basically record the time for one table lookup operation and collect 10,000 encryption samples, and with the known key, and we will be able to calculate the unique number of unique cache knives, and we found the correlation between the unique number of cache knives and the timing is 0.95. This is very strong correlation we found. But so far we have assumed we know the key. In real life, in a real setting, we don't know the key. So what can we do? So here is our summary of our correlation timing attack. So first we record many sets of encryption and the timing data, and we target on only 1 byte at a time. Since it's 1 byte is 8 bits, so the possible value can only be from 0 to 255. So you guess a value for it, and then using the guess value and the known ciphertext to calculate the number of unique cache knife you actually generate. So and then you correlate that value with the timing information you observe. So if the key guess is correct, well, you get a really high correlation, right? So to validate our attack methodology, we measured the time of 32 parallel AES encryption, and we collect 1 million samples. And here is our result. And the right key immediately stands out from among 256 possible value. So in fact, the correlation with the correct key is 36 times higher than the correlation with the wrong key. So we repeat this process and apply the methodology to other key bytes, and we were able to successfully recover all the 16 key bytes. We also perform success rate analysis, just to see how many samples we really need to achieve 100% success rate. So we perform many real attack with different number of samples, and basically it's showing on the blue line here. So with 500,000 sample, we were able to achieve 100% success rate. We also extract our signal to noise ratio from one of the real attack experiments, and we use that to predict the success rate model here. And you can see the theoretical success rate is precisely predict empirical one. So far we have focusing on have the GPU encrypting 32 encryption at the same time, but GPU can do more. So this time, in a more practical setting, we have the GPU to run 1024 encryption, and we also add a lot of other noise source to our timing measurement, so to kind of favor the attacker to mimic the real life more. So what we found is with 1.5 million sample, we were able to achieve 100% success rate. So far we have seen NVIDIA GPU is quite vulnerable to our attack. And we also examined the AMD GPU too. The AMD GPU exhibit the same memory collecting behavior too. So clearly we can see we can apply our attack methodology to the AMD GPU too. So with that, to summarize, come back to our first question. Is GPU secure for cryptographic processing? Well, at this point, I think I can answer as no. And in this talk, right, we have been using AES as an example, but many other applications running on the GPU can be vulnerable too, due to the feature we are exploiting, right? So definitely GPU are vulnerable to our timing attack, and I argue the countermeasure is needed. So, and this work is published to HPCA 2016, and with that, I would like to thank you and take questions.
Question time?
So on your slide for memory coalescing, slide 8, if you could go back to that. You say that the execution time is a factor of noise here. When I think noise, I think of electromagnetic interference. So my question to you is, what causes noise in memory coalescing that affects execution?
In this setting, there's not much noise here, because so in this micro benchmark only execute one load instruction. So basically, virtual time of the load instruction is not really a lot of noise. So as you can see, each point is actually is a distribution of 100 samples. So it's not, so you can see from here, it's not really a lot of noise here.
You have to define the noise first, because what you refer to is different from what you're talking about. Noise is thinking of the ear or other noise.
Oh,
It's the time.
Actually, what is the noise?
Oh, so here, actually, I think what you're referring to is, so basically, is the noise here is the serialization in the GPU. So because of memory issue to the GPU has to be serialized to be served. So you will see, that's why you will see a number of different unique cache line requests will result in different timing here. I'm not sure that's the noise are you referring to.
You say B is noise. So what noise are you referring to?
Oh, B noise can be anything like anything from WAP scheduler, so any other workload on the system may be running too. So those can contribute to the noise, and also there's a system maybe scale like frequency scaling, and that also may be the noise too.
Okay, thanks.
A better word would be non-determinism. So, yeah, I think he's trying to convey non-determinism versus noise in the classical sense.
Yeah, that's right.
So I have a question. So should you be telling us all this? Like somebody in the audience, could they run out and start hacking away and recover keys with the information you give us?
Well, we just do the research, so.
We're funded by the football government.
So I'm asking a serious question. I mean, is this a vulnerability that somebody in this room wouldn't be me, if somebody knew what they were doing, go out and figure out a way to exploit now, or what's the level of danger present in what you're telling us?
You can, if the person is really technical, may use this method to actually attack the GPU in the real setting.
Yeah, the best defense is a good offense. So basically, we need to harden these devices. The only way we can do it.
I wasn't asking why he's interested in breaking into them. I understand that the point is to expose vulnerabilities to protect against them. But I'm asking, is this something that, I mean,
I think
You should be worried and fund security research, yes.
I think the best way to defend a system is to reveal the vulnerability
yeah, no,
in the system.
I'm not asking that.
So,
I'm saying, I mean, you've just told us, told this room full of people about this vulnerability, this encryption vulnerability. So is this something, are you worried? How
well,
immediate is the danger?
No, they're Northeastern engineers.
well,
I think you should show the slide of the practical settings. So you just how realistic this is.
You see, I can't hear you, sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm suggesting you bring up the slide of this practical setting and the hacking environment to show how realistic this is. Just at the very end, please.
Yeah, but in this presentation, it showed that there is a disadvantage for there is a problem, but do we have any solution for this problem now, or
Well,
you just find the problem now that the GPU is not secure?
we have temporary solution. We can, like, for example, in this setting, right, we have using the same encryption key for each for every thread, but to prevent an attacker from like a short term to recover the key, the system can like implement using many different encryption key in each thread, and it will be really hard for us to recover. However, that is a matter of time, like attacker can recover. So that is a short-term solution. So and the system administrator can change the key like over time, and then to prevent those attacks.
Got a question that's actually related to this, and maybe it's just me that I didn't understand. But what's the data that you work with? You say timings of the frames while the GPU is loading from cache, but that means that you're actually measuring on the device?
We actually measuring, in this case, we actually measuring the data is being received by one of these machine, and then it's being processed by the GPU, and then it actually return to the CPU, and then send out to the attacker. So basically, the attacker is on another machine, and the vector is right there. So they are connected to the ground.
So it's the timing with which the attacker that it's connecting to some
Yes, it's like
service.
sending the packet to the vector machine.
Matter of fact, we're running this on all your machines right now.
so could you add, do you have enough bandwidth, you could just add a random delay?
Sure, that definitely helps too, but that's only increasing the noise here. But as you can see from the success rate analysis, with increasing of the number of sample, you actually
And nothing is random. Nothing is random.
Can you just put a buffer time?
So in your real setting, you're saying that you're measuring the time that the attacker receives the packet, the difference in time that the attacker receives the packet. Send and receive.
Send and receive. So you
And the
send.
variability of the transmission over the internet is much smaller than the variability that the GPU has by a cache coalescing. I doubt that.
Is
The noise the noise of the internet transmissions is probably magnitudes larger than the noise that you get due to coalescing or non-coalescing on the GPU.
Sure, those noise can also be averaged out through like a large samples. So when you have a large sample, the variability, the variance decrease.
So I think you make a good point. So in our setup, we do go to an internet, there's no one else on that internet.
So my
yeah.
students downloading the best research papers, they will be noise. And
But if I'm on a local,
impossible.
land and I'm in the next office from you, I can do this, okay?
Good,
Okay.
good, good.
Quick question. So you explore basically the key with length of 8 bits, right? But what if we simply add the length, say, so 28 or 256?
According to AES standard, so there are 16 keys, right? So each key byte is 8 bits. So these 8 bits cannot be longer. So.
Okay, very nice discussion, and also thank you the professors for support of